Hello, everyone. I'm Maggie LaBranche Gonzalez. I'm an attorney with Litherland Kennedy and Associates. We're an estate planning and elder care law firm in Campbell, California. And if you're here today, then you're here to talk about our Ask the Expert. And we have an amazing presentation today. No pressure. Before I introduce our guest speaker today, I want to just go through a couple of things. If you're watching this, watch this in presentation mode. That way you can see our slides that Alisha is going to present. If you have questions, don't worry. Put them in the Q&A box, which is found below or on your phone. Alisha and I will make sure, mostly Alisha, because I'm not an expert in organizing. Let's just be honest about that. We'll make sure we answer all of the questions at the end of the presentation today. Plenty of time for questions. And if you have a technical issue, you can't hear us, you can't see us, you just want to give us some praise. Maggie, your pink lipstick looks amazing today. Thank you so much. I love it. Put that in the chat. We have Wendy here who's monitoring chat for any technical issues. Let's see, we are recording today's webinar, so we will have that available to you at the end of probably early next week, not the end of today, but probably early next week. So if you want to share this with your family, your friends, like, hey, I told you so, like, that's fine too. You just want to watch it again, it'll be available. All right, so without further ado, you're here today because we're going to talk about organizing our space. So I would like to introduce our guest speaker today. Alisha, who's here with us, and I'm pointing to her because she's on my side of the screen, but Alisha Pangburn is from Sort Your Nest. She is an organizing enthusiast who is dedicated to helping others achieve a more organized home life. As a professional organizer, Alisha collaborates with her clients to create personalized organizing solutions for their homes, home offices, garages, sheds, and more. She also assists with downsizing before or unpacking after a move, helping clients comfortably settle into their new home. And guess what? She understands the challenges of maintaining a work-life balance, having raised a family and worked in the corporate world, so she gets it. And she's got an empathetic nature and non-judgmental approach. And I can definitely attest to that because I've worked with her and my family has worked with her, so I get it. Alisha thrives on making a positive difference in people's lives and finds joy in the unique challenges of each organizing project that she presents. Outside of her professional life, when she's not organizing everyone else's life, she enjoys spending time with her friends, family, and dog Callie. She values exercise, especially Zumba, running, and kickboxing. She's also an active volunteer in her networking groups and local community events. So Alisha, thank you for joining us today to talk about all of our organizational stuff. And Alicia's going to have a little presentation for us, and then we have a little surprise for all of you, which we're going to talk about, and then we will open it up for your questions. So, Alisha, this is here. Take it away, right?
All
If you
right.
need me,
Thank you.
Thank
you so much for the introduction, and thank you for having me today. I am thrilled to be here. I'm going to try to share my screen here and pull up my slides. So give me a moment.
This is all the technical stuff that you get.
Yeah, all the technical things, which I'm not very good at.
There it is. See it.
Can you see it? Hooray, I did it. Okay. All right. Well, thank you everyone for being here today. Hopefully I can shed a little bit of light on what a professional organizer is, kind of what the steps are in organizing, and then maybe pull it all together with our little surprise demo for you. So anyway, hopefully you'll have some nuggets to take away from today. So let me get started. So what is a professional organizer exactly? So maybe you've heard the term, maybe you've heard of us, maybe you've seen us on TV. Maybe you've seen all the fun, pretty containers and rainbow color order, or maybe you've seen, Marie Kondo's The Tidying Up or the Hoarder Show. So maybe you have an idea of what we are. I would have to say that, remember those shows are for entertainment. The end result might look like that, but I would say the process isn't maybe quite as it appears on TV.
So do you not ask every client whether each item brings them joy? I think that's really what you're
yeah, I know, exactly. Well, I have some other strategies later. I have some questions you might ask yourself if you're struggling with what to do with an item. But if that works for you, does it spark joy? Then you go for it. I mean, why not? So what exactly do we do? What does a professional organizer do? So we are a coach. We encourage our clients. We help them keep focus and momentum on their organizing project, whatever it may be. We provide accountability. So we provide, we help you show up for yourself. You're making an appointment. It's time to do the work. We collaborate and create organizing systems. So we work with you and figure out what your lifestyle is and how to make it work. We can actually do the implementation of those ideas. So we can do the physical work of it. And in the end, at least for me as an organizer, my goal is to transfer knowledge to my clients. So they've learned something so they can keep it up and maintain it themselves. And so you've seen on the shows, probably if you've heard of an organizer, you've seen that we definitely organize physical spaces, but there are other things in the organizing industry that we do. So we may organize someone's time. You may have heard of a productivity coach, that term. Time management is not everyone's cup of tea, and sometimes you need a little bit of help with that. So there's organizers that do that. Photo organization, digital, and all those old photos that you may have kept from out the years. Getting those organized, paper. So if you have trouble with paper, we can help organize systems with paper flow or a filing system for you. Your digital desktop, maybe that's a mess and you have so many emails and you don't know what to do and what to do with all the information that's coming in on your desktop. Moves. So if you're moving, some organizers can help you downsize, declutter before, pack, and unpack after, and get you settled in. Some organizers specialize with estate sales. So if you have a loved one who's passed and you have to go through their home and help find places for all their things to go, there are organizers that do specialize in that. Or maybe you're downsizing, you're an empty nester, you want to go to a 55 plus community, senior community, and it's time to start going through your things. Organizers can help with that. And they can also help with finances. Not from an investing standpoint, but more from like bookkeeping, helping you keep your weekly bills getting paid and coming up with systems for that. So there's lots of different things that we can do. And we help with, you might be thinking, I don't know, do I need an organizer? Well, we kind of help everybody. Anyone from like college age kids, which I've helped before get their apartment organized, to young families, to seniors, to widowed people with ADHD or chronic disorganization, clients that might have physical impairments that make it hard for them to move around. So we help a whole population of people. And also want to say there are some organizers that specialize in like the Marie Kondo method, or like feng shui, if that's something that you're into. So you have to look around to find the organizer that might be a good fit for you. So how exactly does the process work? There are steps in organizing. And this is the one I've coined. And my business is Sort Your Nest. So this is my sort. These are the steps.
I get it now.
Yeah,
I
you
get it now. It all makes sense. I got it.
See what I did there? Okay.
I see what you did there.
Anyway, you might read and find some other various steps, but it's kind of the same idea, general theme running through it. You sort your stuff, then you take a look at it and determine if you still want to keep it all, or if you have things that are excess, then you need to put them all back. And then you need to maintain it. So those are kind of the overall steps. And I'm going to take a little dive into each one of these steps. So the first step is sort. So basically what you're doing, if you have a space, let's say your closet, you're going to pull everything out and you're going to sort it like with like. And why might you do this? What are the benefits of sorting? Well, it gives you a visual so you can see like what and how much stuff you have. Like, oh my gosh, I have 15 white t-shirts. I didn't realize that because they were all over the place throughout the house. So it really gives you a good perspective of how much you have. It also will help you determine when you're going to put everything back in, like how much storage space do I now need for those? I'm going to say keep 5 white t-shirts. How much space do I need for that? As you pull everything out and are sorting, it gives you the opportunity to clean it, because you're probably sometimes not cleaning those spaces. It gives you a chance to wipe it down and get it clean. And also if you store everything together, so going back to the closet analogy, if you keep all your sweaters in the same place and you can't find a sweater, you're going to know where to go look for it. This is where I store my sweaters. I can go find them here. So it really helps the sorting step. This is just an example of a sort. that I worked on. It was a community service project I did for a soccer shed. So they had one of those big, shipping containers that they store all their stuff in. So this is after we cleared it out. So it took a bunch of us, but we cleared the whole
Wow.
thing out. I know you can't even tell from the first picture. There's actually 2 rooms in there. So after we were sorted it and pulled everything out, we had the opportunity to sweep it and clean it, wipe it down, get all the cobwebs, all that good stuff. And then just a little warning with sorting, it definitely gets messier before it gets better. So don't be
So
alarmed.
don't panic.
Don't
and give up
panic.
in this stage, the first
Yeah.
stage.
Don't panic. We're going to get it back in there, but it does make a mess. So here's some of the kids that were volunteering, but we were able to like separate all the, soccer cones and the jerseys and the training equipment and the nets and the balls and all that kind of stuff. So it gave the coaches and the staff an idea of how much stuff they actually had and what they could maybe let go of. And in the end, for this one project, it took us 46 human hours, but that was 2 of us adults there for about 5 hours and 12 kids for 3 hours each coming in there. And then when we were done, everything had a home. You were able to walk around. We labeled it, so everything had a place.
Have you gone back to check and see if it still looks like this?
I have not, but I
should
know.
do a surprise check in.
I know, surprise. Maybe I'll
I'm
be
here
going
for
back
my
next
tea.
year.
I'm
I know.
checking in.
Okay, so the next step in the sort process is the offload, and this is where I'm going to spend time today because I feel like in my experience, at least the clients that I've worked with, this seems to be the hardest part, is the letting go. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time on this one today.
Like you know me or something.
Yeah, Maggie, maybe.
There it is, right there. Number 1.
There it is.
Attachment. It's that emotional connection to the DVD collection. I don't know what it is. Right? It's that,
exactly. I know. I just can't let go of it. So I think what I hear a lot, at least with my clients that I've worked with, is a couple or a few reasons that people have a hard time letting go is because they are attached. They don't know where or how to start. Like it's daunting. They walk by that room every day and they don't even know what to do. And then also the third thing is, well, then what do I do with all my stuff? Like, I don't even know what to do with it after I've gone through it. So I'm going to just dive a little bit deeper into each one of these. So the first thing is for the attachment,
Here it is.
I'm kind of dialing down into this a little bit more too, because this one's a hard one because we are attached to our things, right? We have memories. They remind us of good times and we don't want to let go of things. And what I hear a lot, there's a few reasons. One is, the monetary attachment, the sentimental attachment, and then also kind of an attachment with, oh, someday I might use that. The someday maybe is kind of what I'm calling it.
Someday maybe.
The someday maybe. I might use that.
I might potentially one day use that chocolate fountain that I got at the garage sale for $20 because
20 years ago, but I might use it. So we all do it. We all have our things. So the first one, so kind of what I'm challenging you here today is just to think about when you don't want to let go of something because of the monetary costs. I'm just challenging you to think of it in a different way, that there is the initial, $20 you spent on it. True. That is true. And maybe it was a lot of money for what you spent. And so you can't let go of it because you spent so much money. But what I want to say about that is there are other costs to just the original cash outlay. And that's kind of that. The left side of the scale is maybe your initial cost. And I'm challenging you to think that maybe these other things could be more than the initial cost. So there is the cost of maintaining and repairing. That costs money. There's the cost of real estate. Real estate's not cheap around here. So that shelf it's taking up, that's expensive. There is the time cost. So there is the time it takes to take it to get repaired. There's the time it costs to clean it and to put it away and to move it around. So it is costing you time. And then of course there's the emotional cost of something, which is, worrying about it, thinking about it. What do you do with it? Walking by it all the time. If
nobody wants it in my family, I hear that all the time with clients.
I
have it, but I don't want to get rid of it, but nobody wants it. And
exactly.
Spend all your time thinking about that.
And you're thinking about it and kind of obsessing about it. And so it weighs you down. So, maybe this is just a different way to think about it. And is it really worth it? Maybe it is worth it. And that's great. I'm not here to tell you whether it is or isn't, but just to challenge yourself to think about what the true cost of an item is. And, the less stuff you have, the less you have to manage, and you will have more money, more time, more freedom, and less emotional clutter. So just trying to keep that in mind. So the next one I hear, like the sentimental attachment, I hear this kind of a lot, like, well, I need to keep that because, well, Aunt Shirley gave it to me, so I can't let go of that because she gave it to me. Or my kids might want that. I've got to keep it because my kids
No, they
might
don't.
want
Yeah.
it.
No, they do not want it.
They do not want it. Or it was my great grandma's. I've got to keep it. Must be worth a lot of money. So I hear these themes a lot. And so what I might have you think about for this, is Aunt Shirley did give it to you, and that's great. And maybe it is special to you and you should keep it. But I might ask you, how are you honoring it today? Is it something we just found in the attic that's been up there for 30 years in a box hiding? So I might just ask, is it special to you? And maybe now that you found it, you will honor it and put it on a shelf if it's, a special cup or something, teacup or what have you. But just challenging you to think about how special it is to you and how you're honoring it. And is it adding value to your life today? This is one I'm going to keep saying. I stole this one from Peter Walsh, who's well known in the organizing industry, but I really like it. I think it's a good question to ask. And then, like Maggie said, I think you're right. The kids don't want our stuff. They don't place the same sentimental attachment to the things that we do. And we think they're going to want it, and they really, unfortunately, don't. Now, I'm making a generalization. Some kids may want it, but I'm just saying kind of in general from what I've seen. And the other kind of bad news is a lot of our stuff is not worth what we think it is. So what I would suggest here with the kids might wanting it is when they're, grown and their brains have matured, a little bit older, start having conversations with them. What is important to them? What do they really want? And try to honor what they're saying. They're not probably going to want everything. So, and I know that's tough to hear, but I would start the conversation. And also, if you're thinking something's worth a lot, then maybe do a little dig around and see what you can find. See if you can find similar items that are for sale and what they're actually worth. You can go to live auction, online auction websites to see if you can find it. You could call an appraiser. If you have some type of antique, you could call an antique store and see if they're carrying it. So there's different ways that you can kind of poke around and see if something is worth anything, like monetarily. Okay.
That doesn't mean it's not worth anything to you.
Correct.
It's like the money value
Correct.
of it is not.
But if the reason you're holding on to it is
Yeah.
because you think it's worth a lot of money, even though you don't really love it, then maybe check
Probably
into
not.
it. Yeah, dig around and find out some information. And then sort of the someday maybe. So these are just some strategies and questions you can ask yourself. So we might be going through something and you find it, you're like, oh, I forgot I had that. I might use that one day, so I can't let go of it because it's possible I'll use it. So a couple different strategies is, would you buy that again today? I don't know. Would you? When was the last time you looked for it? So you didn't know you have it. You haven't really missed it. So just a question. And maybe now that you found it, maybe you are going to use it. But just, just things. These are strategies. I was here the quote. We wear 20% of our clothes 80% of the time.
That is a true statement.
Yes.
100% a true statement.
Yeah. Do we really need all the stuff we have? Maybe, letting go of it and letting someone else enjoy it who needs it is a better option. Do you love it? Do you use it? Is it beautiful? That's another strategy. Do you already have something similar? You'll know that if you sort it. So if you do the sort, you're going to see if you already have it. And what are your organizing goals? Why are you getting organized? Is this keeping this item in line with those goals? And once again, does it add value to your life today? So these are just strategies, things you can ask yourself. And then I guess, for strategies for life stages, I guess sort of in summary of this is seniors. I think if you're out there and you're seniors, I do think one of the best gifts you can give your kids is having an appointment with Maggie and Justin and getting all your financial affairs in order. But also, if you've been collecting things for 40 or 50 years, the best gift you can give your kids is to start going through it now and not leave them burdened with it later. It's really hard. It's hard for them to go through it and make decisions.
And can I say one thing about that too? That's a really good point, because a lot of times clients are waiting until when they pass away to give the things to their kids,
Mm-hmm.
the jewelry, the
Right.
special item or whatever. And if you're waiting until then, you're not giving them the opportunity to enjoy it while you're alive. So you can't
Yes.
see them enjoying it. And you're not giving them the story, the why that you wanted
Right.
them to have this, whatever, right?
Right. And
And if you're not using it and you're downsizing, or it's really important for them to have it, this is the opportunity to really give them the whatever it is, right?
yeah, no, I
Um,
completely agree. And it could be a fun thing. It could be a way you're spending time with your kids if they're visiting from in town, or if they're in town, to have a day and kind of go through your things. You can talk and tell your stories, and they can say whether they want it. I remember my grandma used to. She was funny though, but she would, when we'd go over there, she'd say, "Okay, what do you want? Okay,
yep.
what are the things here you want? I'm going to put your name on the back." But I look back on that and I thought, she was really smart. She was onto something there. So that's just one thing I'd say for seniors. Empty nesters, which is kind of where I'm at right now. And I have kids that are approaching adulthood and their brains are forming, but starting to really start talking to your kids. Like I said, I've already said that, but talk to your kids, open the conversation about really what is special to them. And for younger families, learn from us. If you're just starting out, what I would say is be intentional about what you keep. You actually don't have to, if you don't want to, you don't have to keep every doodle your kid made. So even though I know it's fun, and all of that, and all the baby clothes and all the toys, I think it might be fun to keep some of them, but you probably don't have to keep all of them. And you could use technology to your advantage. You can take pictures of things. You can create books they don't take up much room, and you can go back and walk through your book together and look at all the things from the past. So that's sort of my advice for the younger families. And then this is um, just a reminder that downsizing, if this is the stage of life you're in and this is what you're about to do, it takes time. So please plan for it. If you're planning to move in the next couple of years, and you want to downsize, I would start now. This is a picture from a client. I've been there since October 2021. So I go a couple times a month. They've lived there for 40 years. They want to get to a smaller footprint, and we're just slowly going through all of their things. So it takes time, and it also it's hard emotionally. So you can't do it all in one day. If it took you 40 or 50 years to collect it, it's not all going to go away in a day, a week, or even a month. So plan for it so you're not stressed. Now you've sold your house and you haven't gone through anything. It's very stressful. What ends up happening is you move it all, you pay all the money to move it, and then you're on the other side still haven't gone through it. So I would just plan ahead and take your time and go through it.
Good point.
Okay, next up. And this is just another example. Things take time. This was a garage I worked on. And basically the goal here was just to create some space. She was going through a remodel, wanted to put in some furniture and appliances, just needed room in there for that. That was sort of the main goal, step one. So we sorted and donated and did all that type of thing, of the things that we dove deep into. And then in the end, we did have a half a
Whoa.
garage. We had half a
Look
garage
at
for her to put her stuff. We are able to look at most boxes and at least get a label on them, but that whole back wall is still a whole other organizing project. It's still all the sentimental paper, that type of stuff that we still have to go through. And that took us 70 human hours with 6 sessions and 2 organizers doing that. So that's just one example of, it takes time.
That's great.
Okay, so next, where and how to start. Often, people are really confused about what to do with this. So here's some pointers that I came up with. First of all, schedule time and stick to it. Actually put it on your calendar, whatever your calendar system is, and stick to it. You are a priority. This is important. So make yourself a priority. No excuses. Try to get it done. If you can, I know we're all really busy. Try to do a large chunk, maybe a few hours if you can, because you'll get more done. But if not, 1 hour is better than no hours. Start somewhere. Start in a room, just that one little corner on or one shelf in the closet or whatever it is. Just start. A lot of clutter can take time, like I said. So set realistic expectations for yourself. Don't, give yourself grace. Don't be hard on yourself. It is going to take time to go through it. Also, break it into small bites. So if you have a whole room that's just filled with clutter, break it into small little achievable goals. And so you're feeling good about yourself, set yourself up for success so you'll want to keep going. And, if you wanted to drill down and, well, where, like, what area should I start with in this room? Is there any safety concerns? Are things blocking a doorway? Are they piled too high where they might knock over and hurt someone? I would maybe start with those. Or what's the one thing in that room that just drives you crazy every time you walk by? Maybe start in that area so you'll feel like you have success, and feel relief from it. Or is there anything low hanging? Like, go to the low hanging fruit and grab something quick so you feel success right away. One thing, since we are a consumerist society right now, and Amazon has helped us with that, one easy, quick, and dirty way is to break down all the Amazon boxes sitting in that room and go get them in your recycle bin. You'd be amazed at how much space that clears up. I do see that a lot. And then tactically, like really drilling down, like, where do you start? What do I do? I'd say grab a trash and recycle can, a shred box, if there might be paper, and a donate box, and just get started. And like I said, eat the frog. You can do it. You can do hard things. You just have to get started. Okay, so this is
started. That's
I
what
know
everyone feels, that panic of like,
what
it is.
I know. So this one, I could go on for days on this. I'm probably going to throw a lot of information at you. You don't need to write it down because I'm going to follow up with a PDF so you can look at it later. But I just wanted to give you some general ideas. This is not an all-inclusive list. There's so many ways to dispose of things, or donate. But anyway, starting with this one. So obviously you put your trash in your trash, but if you have a lot of trash, it doesn't fit in your trash can. You can at least, and I'm speaking mostly South Bay, San Jose area, so you need to check your own local guidelines and county or city to see what works for you. But in our area, you can buy extra garbage bag stickers from the grocery store or from the library, and you can put extra bags out if you have, larger trash piles. If you want to DIY, then you can drive it yourself to the landfill. That's another option. Fill up your truck. City of San Jose has a free junk pickup. So if you log in and go to that site, you can book appointment for free, and they will come and pick it up. You put it curbside, or you can always call a hauler, do something like that. Recycling, all the basics, put in your recycle bin. But for household hazardous waste, do not put it in your trash can. Please, please, please. I know it's so easy just to throw that stuff in the trash can, but it's really bad for the environment. It leaches into our soil. And the county, there is a household hazardous waste program. You call, make an appointment, you fill your car up, you drive there, they take it out of your car. It's really easy. And it's a little further away from like where I live, but not too far. It's still in San Jose. But there's also lots of local programs for hazardous waste and ways that you can, responsibly dispose of it. So they have programs for like batteries. There's, some you have to look it up on the city website, and we'll tell you specifically which stores participate. But there's some like Aces and Outdoor Supply Hardware, some libraries that will take batteries, car batteries, like some AutoZones, O'Reilly's, paint, like participating paint stores like Sherwin-Williams, Dunn Edwards, they'll take paint. Prescriptions, there's pharmacies that have bins in there. You pour your old prescriptions out of the bottle, put them in a Ziploc baggie, and you go dump them in there. And then you can recycle the little prescription bottle. E-waste, like Goodwill Savers, right now they're taking e-waste, at least for Savers, at least that's what they're telling me. They've been taking it. Things tend to change, so kind of always check before. Motor oil, you can put curbside. Very fluorescent LEDs, there's stores. Some of those Ace Outdoor Supply Hardwares will take light bulbs. And printer ink, like some of your office stores will take printer ink. So there are places locally that you can go drop off some of these things. So that is for that. And then next, for shredding, well, you can DIY, buy your own shredder and do it yourself. You can look for a local shred event like you have coming up.
We do have a shredding event on May 13th, which I'll remind you guys about at the end, but you can save it all up and just do it all at once. And it's
I love it.
confidential shredding. You can pay a company.
I think I might have some. I might have to bring it.
I saved mine all year for this event. So
oh, that's so awesome. Yeah, thank you for doing that. I love it. Locally, there's Red Dog Shred. You can drive up in your car. They take it out. You can watch it go into their machine. It's really easy. There's one, I haven't actually used them, but like Insight Shredding is locally. They're a mobile shredder, so they'll drive over to your house and do it. So there are options to shred your confidential papers. And then donating, oh my, I could go on for days, but there are so many ways that you can donate your household goods and clothing and furniture and home decor and all that, electronics and stuff. But I'll just run through them. They're all on this list, though. I'll run through a few, like Goodwill and Savers. Everyone's probably heard of those, Salvation Army, Sacred Heart, City Team, Hope Thrift, all the American Cancer Society discovery shops. There's a lot of those around that is good for like clothing and household goods. There is the Butter Paddle, Happy Dragon, Unicorn. Those are all through Pacific Clinics, which was formerly Uplift Family Services. Life Moves. Habitat for Humanity has Restore. They're more into like they might take the nice furniture, the hardware, some of the appliances, but they do have special. You have to go on all these websites and see specifically what they take, though, because sometimes large furniture is hard to find a home for. So you always need to call these places ahead of time. There's a company called Remove, and they will come take all your stuff, junk included, and they will donate what they think they can sell. They have an online consignment store, which is pretty cool. And so you get, some money back for that, and they'll recycle too. So there's some all-in-ones. There's, I don't know, like Professional Tire, there's Dress for Success, and for larger furniture, Bay Area Furniture Bank or Hope Services or Salvation Army. There's just a whole list I have here that I'll be sending to you. You can also, if you just want to donate, you do free groups. There's different free groups on like Facebook or Nextdoor, like Trash Nothing. You could call your local church or your favorite charity and see what they're taking. You could call a local theater or school. I often will donate, art supplies, that type of thing, to schools. So it's just kind of about being creative and seeing what you want to do with it. And then there's eco-friendly haulers that will come and not just take it to the landfill. So looking for those ones in particular who will donate first before. Those are the ones, of course, I as an organizer like. Some local ones are Junk Luggers of San Jose, or Buy Junk, Nixit Junk Removal, Anson's Furniture and Salvage. So those are just, I know it's a lot of information. You'll get it.
Don't worry, we're going to email out all the resources.
So don't,
you have.
just sit back. You don't need to write it down. Okay. And then selling. So you can also sell your items. So maybe you do want to get a little bit of money back and you want to see what you can get. You can do online auctions, in-person auctions. There's a lot of online consignment shops, like especially for clothing, like ThredUp or The Real. Like I said, Remove also has this store called The Local Flea, where they have all kinds of things. Home Consignment Center around here, they do take furniture, but it is specific what they take. So there's certain things they don't want to take because they don't sell. So always call ahead. Online selling, you can online sell maybe on eBay or Nextdoor, Facebook Marketplace. Clothing like Poshmark, Depop, Mercari, like there's all kinds of ways to sell things online if you have the time and want to do that. You could also DIY in person. If you want to do in person, do the old-fashioned garage sale.
Garage sales.
You can still do it. Yep.
Get rid of your stuff so you can get more stuff, whatever.
Yep, exactly. You can do an in-person sale, like an estate sale. So there's some people around, businesses around that will do that, like Silverleaf or Kuzak's Closet, where they'll actually do the old-fashioned estate sale where you come in and shop. So, and you can check antique stores too. So sometimes they might buy a piece from you. Just kind of depends. So those are just some ideas. I know that was a lot of information on how you can discard of your items. Okay, the next.
Put stuff out on the curb if you live in a place that has a nice stuff and people come pick it up.
That's true. And
not
put
that I've
free.
ever done that.
I know it's true.
Works really well.
If you have some good traffic there, people tend to find it. Yeah, for sure. And that's those free online groups also are good for that too, because you can just sort of put it out there and say, here it is, and
come and get it.
It's amazing. People need things. Okay, so now we're on to the third step. That was the offload, or kind of the downsize declutter section, which is often the hardest. So that was kind of a deep dive. So next up is redesign. So this is kind of this is fun for me, maybe not for everyone, but this is kind of fun. So this is where we've gone through everything and sorted it. We've determined what we're keeping, and now we need to put it back. So a couple things to ask or things to think about when redesigning your new organized space is, what function does it serve? What do you want from this area or this space or this room? And then organizing it according to that. So is this room, for example, going to be a office? Well, then let's keep our office stuff in there. Is this room going to be an office and a playroom? Then we should organize according to that and have those things in there. Um, and I like to design and really get to know clients, how they think, and designing a space for their thinking and lifestyle. So I might provide ideas or suggestions, or have you thought about this, or what about that? But really like how they think about their space, how they use it. So it'll make it easy for them to go find things like, oh, I would think to look for that there, or I would think this should be here. So I try to get to know my client and work that way. Golden rule, everything needs a home, because that's how you keep it organized, because it has a place. So it needs to go back to its place. That's a really good strategy to keep organization up.
So the random chair and the treadmill is not a designated space to keep things? Not that
No,
I've ever done that at all.
I don't think, unless you're using that as a closet, then maybe. I'd have to ask you how you're using your treadmill. Okay, so redesigning, let's see, back to redesign. So containers, I do like containers. They help you define a space. So here's where this is going to live, and it helps you set boundaries. This is my container for this thing. And if it gets too full, then I need to do something about that. I'm not gonna let it spill over. I'm gonna just keep it all here. So that's kind of what I like about containers. And yes, you can get all the fun fancy ones, which I do love. That's really fun, but you don't need that. You could use a shoe box or a jewelry box or your Amazon boxes, whatever works for you. But they really do help in defining a space. And when you're organizing, don't forget about all the vertical space. Sometimes everyone has that closet with only one shelf, and then there's just all the space in it. So think about how you can utilize all that space, especially if you have a small home and you need all the space you can get. And also the full depth of a space, like all the way in the back of the drawer and the back of the cabinet. And don't forget about doors. Doors can actually be useful for storage too, because there's all kinds of racks and things you can hang on them. Couple other golden rules. Try to keep your heavy items down lower. You don't want something up too high, and when you go to reach it, you tumble over. That's dangerous. Don't want you to hurt yourself. The things that you access most, keep it kind of within your reach, within your zone of reach, because those are going to be the items you're going to most of the time. And for multi-purpose rooms, try to create zones for each function. So like I was saying before, so maybe you have a home office that is also a guest room, and then your child's art area, what have you. So each one would have a zone. So you would have like your office space. You can have then the kids area, and then you can have the spaces for the guests. So trying to keep things organized in zones for each room. Or like a garage, maybe you have the tool area, and maybe you have a workout room out there, and maybe you have travel, and keeping them in different zones makes it easier to find things and put them back in their place. And then labels. I love labels. I'm label happy. I think it helps me remember where to put things as I'm aging, and it helps everyone else in the house remember where to put things. So labels are great. Here's a few things I like to use. I love turntables. I love them, especially in corners of cabinets, that type of thing. It really helps you reach the back of them, because some cabinets were not designed well. And a turntable can be one solution for that. Shelf risers, they help with the vertical space, like I was saying. So it helps you some are stacking, you can do different things, but you can double your space with a shelf riser, and it's the right situation. As you know, I love drawer dividers. They're an easy way.
Look at that.
I know, easy way to divide up a drawer into different categories of things. As I mentioned before, bins and labels.
Wow.
Here's a picture of, like clear with labels, baskets. I didn't love clear to begin with, but as I've organized, I've learned to love clear, because I think it really helps you see where something is. But some people, that's not their aesthetic. They want it hidden. They don't want to see it. So I think as long as you have a label on it, like a basket, to remind you what's in the basket, then I think that works too. And then idea of over the door, like here's a shoe rack I love to use, because for like women's shoes, you can get about 36 pair on there. This is a men's shoes, so you can't get quite as many, but it's a great use of that space. And this is also a utility closet I did, which is great, very customizable, and you can put all kinds of stuff. So if you have a door, that could work for you. And then tend is the last step. And this is really about you maintaining, enjoying your new space. It's kind of like a flower. You need to water and feed it. New habits take time. So don't beat yourself up if you don't get it the first time. And also, it's okay if it needs a few adjustments. So say we come up with a system and working together, and sometimes you got to tweak something just to make it fit just right. And that's okay. But keep trying. New habits take time. And then overall, me personally as an organizer, my goal is to work myself out of a job with you and for you to be able to maintain it. Doesn't work for everybody. There's some people who have challenges, who are busy or chronic disorganization, that type of thing, who need maintenance, and that's okay too. And this was just a quote from a client just saying she was able to maintain it, and I love to hear that. So I feel successful there. Okay.
All right.
It brings it up. So
Here we
now
go.
we're doing a demo of a kitchen drawer and trying to bring all the concepts together of the SWORT method.
You guys are going to see live in action, not live in action. But
okay, I'm going to stop my share.
I know. We set this up in my office so you can see how this might look in real time. We've sped it up because for time, obviously. So the video is about 5 minutes, and I will share my screen. And then Alisha, if you want me to stop so you can explain what's going on in more detail, then let me know.
Okay. I think we'll be okay.
Yeah. So hold on. Let me share my screen. Okay. So this is an anonymous drawer. I don't know where this drawer came from, everyone. And so I'm going to start it. Can everyone see it? Alisha,
I can see. Yeah, I can see it. Okay. So here we are. We are in an office, and we're going through this drawer. And the first thing we're doing,
not an office drawer, obviously.
It's a kitchen drawer, but we're in an office doing this together on a table. So we're starting with the sort. So we're kind of taking everything out and putting it into different categories. We're chit-chatting about, how Maggie or this person may use things in this drawer.
Yeah, anonymous person. Anonymous.
I mean, the anonymous person
who doesn't know where this drawer came from.
Yeah, exactly.
You can see it, and we're sorting it, and we're figuring out which things kind of go in which group.
Right, exactly. How do you use this?
Yeah.
What is this for?
Why is this in this drawer?
Right.
Does it really belong in this drawer?
Right. And we talked about what the function of this drawer is. What is it supposed to do? Obviously, if I was working in a whole kitchen, we wouldn't be just doing this one drawer. We would probably be pulling all the stuff out of the drawers and really thinking about the space and what makes the most sense. So we're kind of doing that. We've cleared it out now. So this is the clear out of the drawer. And so now we still talking about what we're starting into the offload. So we're talking about
the things that don't belong in the drawer.
Yeah, things that don't need to be
going, what is this? Why do you have it? And why is it in this drawer?
Exactly. If this drawer's purpose is this, should it be in a different drawer? So some stuff is going to be moved into the other drawer. Some stuff is getting donated because there's too many of them. So she's going to donate
because
items.
As you saw when we went through it, why do we have 10 different wine bottle openers? Do we just like wine? No, because we just didn't know we had one or whatever.
Exactly. So pulling the sort all together, it kind of helped you figure that out, that we don't need all of those. And so we're going to donate some stuff. There might have been a couple things in there, I think, that were trash. We determined were trash, so couldn't really reuse them. So trash was the best solution for them. So now we're just chit-chatting still about, okay, what about these, Maggie? Or, anonymous person.
Yeah, anonymous person. Why do you have two cheese graters that are exactly alike? One I like more than the other, or we didn't know we had one. Why are they in this drawer? Oh, and this is where it gets really exciting because now,
and somewhere in there, I think I wiped down the drawer. I don't know where that was. I think I missed it. We did clean the drawer. So this is where we start playing around and sort of figuring out the best way to structure the drawer. And it takes trial and error with this type of thing. So, and sort of how the anonymous person thinks about tools and how she uses them when she's looking in a drawer, what she likes together and not together. So we're doing.
Yeah. So the difficulty about this drawer, I guess I should say, is it's technically not my stuff, but it's my parents' kitchen drawer. So I had to sort of think about how they might use the drawer, knowing them the best, because full disclosure, I had Alicia use my actual kitchen drawer for a different demo. So my other kitchen drawer is already organized. So I had used my parents. So I had to kind of go through and think about like my dad likes to barbecue, so we need to keep all the barbecue tools together.
Right.
You know, I know we can't get rid of that because I know he uses it, but you know, like why do we need 2 cheese graters? So I kind of took that on for the team for him, and then so I don't know if he has seen it yet, but I know my mom has seen it. But you know, every time I opened my kitchen drawer that I had, and going through this was very anxiety inducing the first time I did it, right?
Hmm.
Everyone gets to see my stuff, we're all organizing it or
Yes.
whatever. But
And
every
that,
time now I open the drawer, it just makes me so happy. Like I know
oh,
exactly where everything is. When I do the dishes, I know exactly where it goes. I'm not just like throwing it in a drawer. There's the cheese grater thing again. Like maybe it doesn't belong in there because it's not going to fit.
right. Yeah, exactly.
I bet
Like
I can
maybe
find
that's
it
going to go in the
differently.
other drawer, I think
Yeah.
is what we decided on that one. And I'm
Um,
so happy to hear the drawer is working because
yes.
that is the ultimate goal.
And I was able to get the drawer back into the drawer thing. That was one of my other panicky things.
And so you know, it's very common for people to feel nervous because it is a private thing. You're letting someone into your space and see how you live. And some people are ashamed, and organizers are, we don't pass judgment. So we are safe people to come in and help. I mean, that's kind of what we do. No judgment. So we all have our things, right? We all have
right.
our stuff. So yeah, no judgment on our part. We just want to help you feel calm and relief after getting your space organized, because it
And
really
it
can
is really
impact
a
you.
rolling ball too, right? Like we just spent, you know, this is 5 minutes of us doing a drawer.
Hmm.
But it did really catalyst me into doing other things. Like
Yes,
after I did it, it was like, okay, if I can do this one drawer, right?
exactly. You
Then I
might
can
just
take,
find you get
yeah,
hooked
I
on
can
it,
take the
right?
tools that I've learned, you know, and sort of go through this with other areas or other space, or think about when I'm doing this, right? These are really easy things to think about when you're starting to organize it. So I hope everyone liked the demo. That was the first time we'd done that.
I know. It was fun. We
And
just
you saw
worried.
it, you know, it didn't take us actually 5 minutes. We're not that fast.
Yeah, exactly.
You can see them kind of how we did it, and we talked about it. And Alicia did ask me, what do you really use this stuff for? What's the goal in the end of this for the things that are going to live here, right? It's my baking, it's the barbecue, it's the tools I most often cook with. That's how we ended
Right.
up with that plan. She was like,
Right.
okay. So that's how we organized it back into it. And then I had a bag of stuff that's like, I have to go home and find another home for.
Right.
Um,
In the other drawer below,
the
maybe.
other drawer or side, or maybe I will rethink about, do I really need this, right?
Right.
Really use this? Why do we have 7 spatulas? I don't know, but I was too terrified to get rid of any of them because it's usually not my drawer.
Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so that was our before, and let's see, and after. So at least it has compartments, you can see it all, and it's all like with like in the way that you use the drawer.
And we did organize it because some of the stuff, when we had put it in there, I was like, actually, we probably use those more. So we
Right.
switched them.
Exactly. Put them in the front instead of the back. Yeah, exactly. And then let's see. So, next up, part 3, do you need a professor? So I know I've given a lot of information today, thrown stuff out at you, and it still seems overwhelming and you're still not sure. Well, that's why I'm here, because I am a coach. I come in and I help you move along. So maybe you might see a need to find an organizer. So where would you even find an organizer? Well, I happen to know. I'm going to talk about NAPO a little bit. I'm going to toot their horn today because I'm a member of NAPO, which is National Association of Productivity and Organizing Professionals. I think we have about 3,500 members nationwide, probably about 125 in the San Francisco Bay Area. And it's just a great resource for me as an organizer and for the public. You can look up organizers by area and by specialty and that type of thing. So it's a great resource to look for an organizer. If you really want to get those photos organized, Photo Manager is another good resource. ICD, the Institute for Challenging Disorganization, is another organization where you can find organizers that help with ADHD and ICD challenges. NASM is another great resource for the National Association of Senior and Specialty Move Managers. They do work a lot with moves and with seniors. So those are some places you can find. And once again, I'm talking about NAPO. I'm a proud member of the National SFBA chapter. I'm a member of their education committee. We provide monthly education, which is great. And we have a resource list, great resource list, and people we can contact if we need help with things. And we have a strict code of ethics that we adhere to. And this is just my information. If you think you might want to work with me, or you have a question about organizing that we can take offline, feel free to text me at my number, or to check out my website, or to email me. And I will get back to you and we can have a conversation. I always offer a complimentary phone conversation, see if we're a good fit, and if it might be a good project for us to collaborate on together. So feel free to contact me.
And we're going to send Alisha's information out to everybody who attended today, so you'll have it, so you don't feel like you need to scramble to write it all down or anything.
Yeah, so feel free to call me with any questions. And if I don't have the answer, I'll get it for you. And then I don't know if there were any questions.
Yeah, we have about 10 minutes left for questions. We do have a couple of questions.
Okay.
I
haven't looked at chat.
Yeah, it's okay. You did sort of talk about this, but somebody did ask about selling items because they don't have the experience in it. So do you recommend getting somebody? I don't think you said you did that specifically, but
yeah, I don't specifically do like eBay selling, that type of thing. That's just not something, but there are organizers that help their clients with that type of thing. There are other options too. You could do the eBay, you could do something like a max sold online auction. I don't know if she would want to, this was a question about selling things on eBay. Potentially, maybe you could just do one auction with all of the stuff at once. And there's a whole process with it. Yeah, and they have at Maxhold, I think they have people that will help you with the auction, and there's some organizers that also run Maxhold auctions. So you basically take pictures, upload them, you open the auction for like a week, people bid on it, it closes, they make an appointment to pick it up. So it's kind of you can do it all online that way. That might be an option. There's various auction sites to go to. I know eBay being one of them, but that one seems to me more like one at a time. So you would need someone to kind of manage that. But if that's what they're interested in doing, feel free to reach out to me, and I will ask my network of organizers to see if anyone out there specializes in eBay.
Thank you for that. So again, if you have questions about selling stuff, email Alisha and she'll help you get connected.
Get you to the right person. Yeah.
Okay, I have a question. Have you ever seen the show Hoarders? Because not that I live in a hoarder place, but you see it and there's a difference, right? This is my question.
Okay.
Between somebody who comes in and helps with a hoarding situation, right? And somebody who comes in and organizes a space. Is that true?
Yes, so I do not deal with hoarding. I have been in some environments that I would say are somewhere on the scale. A lot of people say, oh, I'm a hoarder, but no, actually there is like a hoarding diagnosis, and it's all based on a scale. I'm not specially trained in doing that. I think true hoarders, probably it's really helpful to have an organizer and a therapist both working together in conjunction. So yeah, you want to look for an organizer that works with that population. And there are organizers who really enjoy working with that population. So yeah, it is different.
More of a mental health thing.
Yeah, you just need to have certain training and know more about that situation and how to work in that environment. So but that's not my specialty for sure. I really like the home. That's a space I know, I understand. I spent many years in it while raising my children, and it's just something I can relate to. So I really enjoy.
That's fair. I mean, you're an expert in what you're an expert in, but I want to point that out if anybody's doing that. So if you guys have questions, feel free to ask them in the Q&A, but because otherwise I'm just going to keep asking questions. So we talked a lot about what I hear. There's a couple of scenarios which I hear frequently, right? I'm downsizing, I'm looking to go to an independent facility, but I think one of the things you talked about is having conversations with your kids, your grandkids, or whatever about your stuff. Mm-hmm. How do you have any advice for people to approach their parents or their loved ones about it's kind of time to start going through their stuff? Because just me personally going through my stuff, I have an emotional issue with it, but then me going to my parents and saying, hey, I'm worried about the amount of stuff in your house, or don't leave this for me, please, or whatever.
Right.
Do we have any nice tips we can leave for anybody who's thinking about talking about to other people's stuff, right?
Well, it is a somewhat delicate situation, I realize. Maybe you start by saying, hey, let's start going through some of those old things. I'd love to hear the stories about them. And let's go see what's up in the attic. Let's pull down some boxes and go through them. I'd like to know more about, your life and that type of thing. Let's see what's all up there. Especially if they're, I don't know, some seniors are like, oh, I have too much stuff and I don't want it, but some are very happy with the things they have.
That is
So
true.
depending, and if there's any kind of safety situation where there is just too much stuff where it poses a danger, that's another way to have a conversation, is talking about, I'm a little worried, I don't want you to trip on things. I think we should start going through stuff, kind of approach it from that way. But maybe offering an approach where it's a time to spend some quality time together.
That's a good
Um,
idea.
yeah. And then you can express interest in the things that you're wanting to keep. You can ask those questions. Well, Mom, you have this whole set of dishes here. Why are they up in the attic? If this is special to you, why don't we bring them out and start using them? Maybe you can kind of start the conversation about what's important.
That's a good idea. Not that I've done this to myself, to my parents, but I did spring Alisha on them too as well, because having somebody who is a non-judgmental third party come in
Yes.
is actually really beneficial, which is why I brought Alisha into our family, because it's one thing for me to go in and start having these conversations with my
Mhm.
parents, and they have every excuse on the planet about why we're keeping everything.
Right.
And having Alisha come in non-judgmental, like, hey, let's
Right.
organize this and go through it and get rid of it or whatever, and have her ask all of these questions like
Yes.
me, right?
Because I'm not attached to your things.
Right.
So that's when having a third party is really helpful, is I can come into a situation, offer advice, or ask the tough questions that may be harder for you as a family member to do. So yeah, I have no problem doing that because
Maybe
I
it's
don't
really
have that
easy for me
same.
to just get rid of it. I don't know.
Yeah.
We
And
don't
that's
need 15 white shirts. We're just getting rid of them. But
yeah, yeah.
all right. Let's see if we have any other questions. After becoming organizing, staying organized may be a problem. Need to
Hmm.
put back things in their place. This is a matter of habit.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, it is. It takes time. So kind of funny, like side story. I moved my silverware drawer probably 2.5 years ago to another location. Even now, I still go to the old one sometimes. It takes a long time to
Takes
create a
time.
habit. I get everything back in its spot and I love where it's at and it makes the most sense. But habits take a while. So keep trying and keep practicing. It takes repetition before it will click. And if for some reason it's really not working and it's not making sense with your lifestyle, then make a little bit of an adjustment. That's okay, and then just keep working. It's most important for how you're thinking and how you live and how you want to use the space to get it back to the right place. So,
It's a practice, not perfection. If you strive for the perfection, you're never
yeah,
going to get there, sort of a thing.
no, I think yeah, I mean, some people like it perfect and all that, but I'm more about function over form. I like the pretty too, but I really want it to be something that is functional. That's kind of what my goal is when working with clients.
What is the cost of organization? Is it like an hourly fee, or is it a flat fee? Is it a combination? How does the fees work? Everyone always wants to know how much everything costs. I don't know.
I know. So it's a really hard thing. If someone calls me up, how much will it cost to organize my closet? Well, that depends on a million different factors. So it's a really hard question just to answer. But um, I think we all have different pricing plans as organizers. I know for me personally, I do it by an hourly rate and I do a 3-hour minimum because that is the amount of time that I've found we can make some progress. And if it's involving a lot of decluttering and decision making, it's emotionally exhausting sometimes for people. Some people are ready. They already know in their head what they're getting rid of and we can boom, 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 get it done. But majority of people I work with, I would say it's emotionally exhausting to have to make so many decisions. So 3 hours, they kind of start to glaze over. So it's like, find that's kind of sometimes a magical time.
Burn it. Yeah.
Yeah, but depending, like if I'm organizing a kitchen and I'm just organizing it, then maybe it's a whole day and we get more done that way. So it really depends on the job. And then different organizers do their pricing structures differently. And we don't really talk in the industry about our pricing amongst each other, especially if we're members of NAPO. So I can't tell you what everybody charges, but I do it my way, and I do an hourly fee. And then I have some add-on services, like I will haul donations away and whatever I can fit in my car. Not everybody does that. So it just depends on what you're looking for. I shop for products for clients, that type of thing. So I know that wasn't really an answer to your question. I'm
Well,
sorry.
that's a good thing to point out, though. So if
Yeah,
you're looking for organization, are they going to do add-on stuff? Are they going to help you haul stuff away?
right,
Will they
right.
find these other resources?
And
Because
everyone
that's
has
an added
different models. Yeah,
cost or time for you if you're not doing it.
right. Some people may bid the whole project. I don't. I do hour by hour. So it just depends on what their pricing structure is. So I
So
hope that helps a little bit.
call Alisha and do the free consultation, and then
Yeah,
she'll give you
absolutely.
an idea.
Yep, exactly. Yep.
All
And
right.
it depends on how hard it is for people to make decisions.
That's
So
true.
if you're struggling a lot, it's going to take longer to finish a space. So
Good point.
yep.
All right, it's 1 o'clock. I want to be respectful of everyone's time. So let's see. Thank you, Alisha, for being here today. I hope everyone found it very helpful. And you have a place to start now. You have the place to start to ask the questions to yourself. Just pick a space, right? Pick the object. You have a plan. You have tools. You have tips. You can get going. You can watch this again because we did record it. At the end of today's webinar, we'll send an email to everyone, which will have Alisha's information. She's also created a PDF of resources of all the things she's talked about. And then if you want a copy of the recording, make sure you respond to the email and we'll have it available next week. Two things I want to remind everyone. We do have our shredding event coming up. It's May 13th. It'll be from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. It'll be here at our office in the parking lot. And so make sure you start going through and saving all of your important papers, your confidential stuff you want shredded. It's a $10 donation per box. It all goes to the Alzheimer's Association. The next Ask the Expert is on May 19th, Friday from noon to 1. We're going to have Tammy Anastasia here. We're going to talk about recognizing signs of dementia, which is also a very hot topic, unfortunately. So again, Alisha, thank you for being here. Thank you everyone for being here today too. I hope everyone found it useful and helpful, and have a really great rest of your day.
Thank you so much for having me.
Bye everyone.
Bye.